The first thing I want to get into, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. The first thing I want to get into is preparing the lesson. It is super important to go ahead and think about the lesson ahead of time. Think about it in your head. Think about how you're going to present it. Think about it in a way so that the materials are prepared. Um, and these things, the projects, and to help your children with homework and different projects, or even if you have toddlers and you're introducing a lot of things to them, a lot of subjects to them, a lot of the stuff you can find like around the house or at the Dollar Tree, and there's the children are so entertained and captivated with that. So it doesn't have to be very costly or anything to get the materials and mentally prepare yourself to go in and do your lesson. Kennedy, I apologize. I wanted to get you these. So first, you want to do your puzzle? Let's do our puzzle. So Kennedy and I are just going to go over some simple shapes on her puzzle. And a lot of lessons are taught in my program this way. We're a lot of hands-on, a lot of individual time, and a lot of group time as well. There are other children sitting around, but they're watching, they're paying attention at any rate. And they actually have other activities going on as well. So, Kennedy, what shape is this? Star. Star, good girl. And how many sides does this star have? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 5. Say a star has 5 sides. Say that. 5. 5. How many sides does a star have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find the star in your puzzle. Very simple. Let's get into the next key that I want to give you guys. The next key is you also want to make sure when you're planning that there are minimal interruptions. They can be super distracting because interruptions they're not planned. So you want to put yourself in a position where you're not being interrupted or the timing is right so that you can dedicate a certain time to teaching and engaging in whatever activity or lesson that you have going on. Kennedy, what is this? Triangle. Very good. What color is the triangle? Blue. Very good. Let's count the sides on the triangle, okay? You ready? Count them. 1, 2, 3. Good job. How many sides does a triangle have? 1, 2, 3. Good job. Put your triangle up there. Let's get back to interruptions. Interruptions can be distracting in many different ways because it's going to interrupt your flow. It's going to interrupt your connection. It's going to interrupt the lesson that you're trying to prepare. And now we'll just add something else for you to do. So a part of preparing for your lesson is definitely making sure that you're going to put yourself in a position that a lot of the distractions are minimized. So once again, get your materials together, plan it all out in your head, and make sure that your interruptions are just minimal. And we're working from home, so a lot of us are home together. Some people have bigger families, some people have smaller families. So it could be another baby, or it could be, another spouse or something like that. But let them know. Well, you can't let the baby know, but maybe you want to include the baby in on the lesson. But you can definitely let the people know that are in your household, hey, this is what we're about to get into. So I need my space. So let's get into another shade. Kennedy. What is this? Pentagon. Very good. How many sides does a pentagon have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. A pentagon has 5 sides. Here you go, Kennedy. Put it on your puzzle. Good job. And let's do this one. What is this one? What's this? Circle. What color is the circle? Yellow. Yellow. Can you see it's yellow? Good job, Kennedy. Let's find it on your puzzle. Good job. The next thing we're going to get into, the next key I want to give you is about age appropriate activities. That's super important. You definitely don't want a 7-year-old doing something that your 3-year-old can do, or you don't want something that your 3-year-old, you're planning an activity for your 3-year-old and you're thinking that your 10-year-old or maybe even a 1-year, 2-year-old or 1-year-old or 2-year-old is prepared for the project. You definitely want to make sure that the family project or the group project or the individual lesson that you're trying to teach your child, like for a lot of you that are homeschool, having to homeschool now, you want to make sure that it's age appropriate. Your approach is age appropriate. A lot of times in teaching, we're introducing things to children. So we don't want to frustrate the situation, or we don't want to give them a higher bar than we know that they need to achieve these small goals first. So a lot of times with teaching, you just want to keep in mind that age appropriate activities will make it a lot easier for you. And just keeping in mind that you're teaching your child, you're introducing things to your child. So they may or may not get it the first time you introduce it to them. Okay, keep that in mind. You want it for your next trick? Yes. What is this? Yeah. Oh no, this is a square. They almost look the same. They're not the same, right? Yeah. What is this? Rhombus. Rhombus. This is a rhombus. A rhombus is super fun. Rhombus. And what color is the rhombus? Pink. Pink. Good job. How many sides does a rhombus have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job. Put your rhombus on your puzzle. Good job, Kennedy. The next tip we're going to get into is who all is going to do the project. That is super important. Once again, if you're teaching geometry, you may not want your toddler sitting to the table unless they're ready for something like geometry. So who you're teaching the lesson to plays into every key that I've stated before. You want to make sure that the materials are age appropriate. You want to make sure the lesson is age appropriate, but you want to make sure that all of these things are appropriate for what age group. So even if you're dealing with a older child, like a school-age child, 10, 11, 12 years old, they also have lessons and different things that the younger kids can listen on, but you can't expect them to pick it up. But then it is a good thing to have all the kids, the younger kids, pay attention to what the older children are doing, so that when the younger kids get to that stage, they kind of already understand the language of it all. What is this? Oval. Kennedy, you're doing so good. Listen, what color is the oval? Orange. Orange. Good job, Kennedy. The oval is orange. Good job, Kennedy. Let's find it on your puzzle. Excellent job. Now, let's circle back onto this. What is this? Square. Square. How many sides? Does a square have sides, right? How many sides? 2, 3, 4. Good job. A square has 4 sides. Put your square on your puzzle. Teaching is super fun for some. Teaching is very engaging. Teaching in details appropriate approach. You definitely want to stay calm. You definitely want to remember who you're dealing with, what age group you're dealing with, and just keep in mind of their own general milestones. A lot of times we think that our kids are super smart, but there are just certain basics they have to crawl before they walk, and that's just the circle of life. It's just the way that it goes. So once again, you want to stay super calm, relax, because the energy that you let off is the energy that they're going to pick up. Let's turn it. If it doesn't fit that way, we're going to turn it and turn it. The rhombus goes here and the square goes here. Yeah. See the pink and the pink? Yeah. And what color is the square? Red. And what color is this? Red. Good job. It matches, you see? Yeah. Okay. Kennedy, what shape is this? Octagon. Octagon. Very good. This is an octagon. And let's count how many sides the octagon has. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An octagon has 8 sides, okay? What color is the octagon? Green. Green. Find the octagon in your puzzle. Good job. I hope that my tips help. I hope that my tips can kind of get you started. The main thing is just to think about the activity beforehand. Instead of just jumping right into it or creating an idea in your head and then you just you jump right into the activity of the lesson. It's super important to go over it in your head, to plan it out ahead of time so that when you approach the situation, you kind of have a flow. There's already almost like a mental agenda. Here you go. Now we are going to color the shape. What is this? Circle. Circle. And you see all these circles? Yeah. We are going to color the circles red. Can you get the red crayon? Making sure that the activities are age appropriate is super important. Super, super, super important. And the materials that the child is using are super important. If your toddler isn't ready for a pencil or a pen or a marker, those may not be the type of materials that you want to be buying them to support their learning. Yes, ma'am. You got it? Okay. Now you have to color all the circles red, okay? All right. Good job. Make sure you stay inside the lines. Good job. Um, that's super important. Materials and making sure that you think about the activity ahead of time. Another thing is the age appropriate. You want to make sure that the lesson that you're teaching is age appropriate. Once again, you don't want to be teaching, addition to a toddler unless they're ready for that. Unless they're ready for that, but once again, it takes steps. The more you put into your child, definitely the more that you'll get back. Also, you want to always keep a calm approach. Think about how you're going to approach the situation is super key as well. Because you don't want to come into it frustrated. You don't want to come into it overwhelmed or overworked or anything. You definitely want to plan a day. I keep telling my parents to plan, make a schedule. Make a schedule. Also, you want to definitely approach the situation calm. You definitely want to approach the situation understanding that your child doesn't know, you're introducing a lot of things to your toddler. Now, the older children, it may be a little different because, like I say, one thing leads to the next thing when it comes to learning. But at the same time, Kennedy, you're doing super good. I want to thank you guys for your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to say, stay safe. Practice social distancing, be careful. And if your child isn't learning, that is not healthy either. Very good. The next one is blue. So let's find a blue crayon and we're going to tell you which one to color for blue. That's the one you want? Okay. Now, what is this? Square. Square. We have to color all the squares blue. So where's all the squares? You see all the squares? Yeah. Okay, color your squares blue. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that I can definitely help you with or a video that you want to see me do, definitely go to Infants and Toddlers on Facebook. You can find me there. You can also find me ms.Peaches ABC on YouTube. I just want to thank you for your time. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. New items are being posted on the website. All different kind of things are happening for the 2020. We are super excited over here at Infants and Toddlers. Thank you so much for your time.